more pure than God? Shall a man be more pure than his makers? We said. Now this is a whisper in his ear. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the devil comes to people in their sleep and tries to, you see how he's trying to steer Eliphaz into thinking that Job had sinned. It had to be a sin for all these things to happen to Job, but you can just clearly see how the devil tried to use Eliphaz against Job. Interesting. I tell you folks, God is amazing and God is real. Now, if I go a little bit back to the beginning in chapter 1 of Job, after it speaks of how blessed Job was and his kids, and how Job offered a sacrifice to the Lord for just in case any of his family sinned, God put up a sacrifice anyway, just in case. But if you go down in chapter 1 on verse 6, it says, "Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught? Does Job fear God for nothing? Hast not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? The devil's sitting there saying, haven't you put a force field around Job so that he can't be hurt in any type of way? Thou hast blessed the works of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." That's what Job is all about. It's a big test. The devil wanted to take Job out. The devil said, "Nah, there's got to be a way that I could get Job to fall. If you take your force field from around him, Lord, I bet you he cursed your face." But the reason why I wanted to read that to you is because the devil didn't come by himself. He came with the sons of God, which are the B'nai Ha-Elohim, the fallen ones, the watchers. Watch Trey Smith if you haven't ever seen any of his videos, and he'll break it down for you. Trey Smith, Trey Smith, the legend. He's awesome. Check him out. But anyway, you see how that works there? So tell me, is it sleep paralysis? Where they say something about you get paralyzed in your sleep? Or, hey, hush. Anyway, sons of God and the devil, or sleep paralysis? Y'all's, it's up to you what you decide. But I'm gonna tell you right now, those demons are messing with you. and they're trying to take you out. Now, let me tell you something. I noticed when I was asleep all these years and these things were holding me down, I noticed that they would let me go in the daytime when the sun came up. But then you know what else I noticed? If I stayed out all night until the sun came up, and let's say it was 10 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the morning, before noon, and then I went to sleep, they attacked me then, even though it's daylight. So that brought me to a conclusion, okay, that if you don't go to sleep at night, you don't get that charge from God, because God renews His mercy on you every day, and His grace is, I believe, is renewed every day. Now, you got to think about this, especially if you're somebody that's on drugs or doing speed or something that's keeping you up for days. Think about this. You're not going to sleep. God is not putting His charge on you, His spiritual charge into your life. Okay? So when you don't sleep, you're not getting that charge, and it makes it easier for the demons to come in and hold you down. Y'all's feeling me? If you don't get that charge and you don't go to sleep, the negativity builds up on you, and they feed off it anyway, even if it's daytime. So through that darkness, through that negativity you allow into your life, these demons can live through this energy even in the daytime. You feel me? Wow, I have so much more to tell y'all, and I feel like I'm out of time. And please just stay tuned, and I will put more videos up for you. But y'all, come on. These visions, these dreams, these everything in my life is pointing to God, is saying it's time. Look at all the people on YouTube right now having prophetic dreams, and a lot of them are very similar. All the real ones anyway, I don't know who's faking and who's not, but I tell the truth. I wasn't raised in church or anything. I was raised in these streets out here in Las Vegas. These demons in my sleep ran me to God. I know Jesus is real for a fact. When I say Jesus and them demons scatter, they're gone. Jesus is real, y'all. And he's a father to you. You got to see that, just like your earthly father, you got to see how his love for you would be like your father. Now, if you didn't grow up with a father, try to think about the man that was a role model in your life who you really looked up to. Then imagine him getting beaten with every inch of his life for you, and dying and being nailed to a cross for you. Imagine that. When I think of my dad, my earthly father, getting beaten like that, I have to think of my heavenly Father, what he really went through for you and I. Time is up, y'all. I'm telling you, I think time itself has even stopped. I feel like our clocks are still moving. I feel like our watches still move, but time has stopped, and everybody's observing to see what everyone's going to do. Do the best you can, everybody. If there's things holding you down in your life, get away from them. Cut them off. If it's things that you're doing that you know ain't right, get rid of them. I don't care if you have to camp out in the desert by yourself to get away from whatever it is stopping you. You don't want to be in that line to get that mark. You don't want to be running through these streets in a war. You want to get sucked up in that cloud, in that whirlwind. Listen to some of my other dreams about the whirlwind and the end. I was like right there. God showed me these things to tell you ain't no more time left, y'all. Take it from a crazy MF like me, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm changing my ways. I'm cutting things off daily. I had a blinged out watch that I loved and I've had for years. God told me to give it to somebody while I was at the dollar store last night. And I took it off and I gave it to him. As a matter of fact, I was watching another video, Small Still Voice, and she was talking about how we need to give up the works of our hands and the things that we love. And when it was funny, when she said that, God told me to look down at my watch and give it to somebody. And then he showed me a little vision of an image of a guy that I was supposed to give it to. And when I was in the dollar store last night, I noticed this brother standing in line, and I looked at his face, and I promise you it was the same face God showed me. He said, I asked God, I said, Lord, is that the man right there? God said, yes. I didn't want to listen to this. This was my bling. This is my watch that I loved. I didn't want to, are you sure, God, that's him? I kept looking at him, and I was like, he probably thought I was crazy. God was staring at him like, man, I know that's who God just showed me to give this watch to. I know that's him. The man checked out, and I was still in line. He went out the door. I chased right after him and caught him right when he was jumping in his car. I said, brother, you might think this is crazy, but God just told me to give you my watch, man. And he looked at me like I was crazy. So like, huh? I said, yeah, it sounds crazy. But believe me, listen to me. God just told me to give you this watch that I love. And I told him it needed a battery. I told him a couple of things, a weld or two that needed to be fixed on it. And I handed it to him. I said, I don't know what the purpose is for this watch, but, if you need to sell it, you could try to sell it. It's not worth too much, but, I paid $200 for it. But I don't think that's the reason why God... Oh, he also told me to tell him there's an occasion coming up that I want you to wear this watch at. That's what I told him. And he thanked me, and he looked at me with amazement or something, and thanked me again. And I told him, you have a good night, brother. And I did tell him one other thing. I said, but God also told me that you need to do the same thing with somebody else, something that you love. I think that brother got it. I think he's going to do it. And I pray that he does, and I pray that whatever it was helps him out. But I just thought I'd share this with y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Peace be unto you. Jesus lives. And remember, you're the head and not the tail.